because we have a few more things to talk about. I've actually scratched a few things off of our list because I was like, don't nobody have time for all of that. But I absolutely want to make time for Mr. Jim Jones. Okay.
Oh,
So y'all,
sound effect.
I watched the lip service interview in its entirety. And I want to preface this with saying that I actually like Jim Jones, y'all. I'm one of them ignorant bitches that finds him extremely attractive and am glad that I never came into contact with him because it probably would have been stab, stab, kill, kill. You know,
I'm
you know,
shocked
in
with
a
this
way.
one, Bondy. I'm shocked.
I'm sorry. It's something about, I'm not gonna lie. Even when he was sitting up there talking about the cryptocurrency and the NFTs and like he's smart. I think he's very, very smart. I love, like, for instance, they asked him, so how do you feel about men taking gifts back from women? And Jim was like, that's corny. You don't do that. Like, you gave it to her, let her have it, whatever. That's some corny shit. Like, even the way he understands life as a man, even though he's ignorant, like, you know, in some hood shit, there are things about him that I find redeemable and I get it. Okay. So I'm sorry, but yes, I low-key find Guillermo hot as fuck. But at the same time, problematic. So I can't really be attracted to him, but I can't deny that I get the appeal of him, is what I'm saying. And I also want to say that there are good things about Jim Jones. Jim Jones has been able to stay relevant when everybody else is not. And to be very clear, Jewels may be relevant, but Jim still has all his teeth. Like, it's a different vibe going on. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to give him the pat on the back for, you know, keeping it healthy. All right. But that's as far as it goes, because mentally, poor Jim. Poor Jim, y'all. Jim doesn't even understand that when he said on lip service, on this interview with Angela Yee, they asked him, they were talking about sex. And honestly, I noticed that he gets uncomfortable when they start talking about sex. As a grown man that you can talk about beating pussy up in songs and all of that, which I'm sure he has, he got uncomfortable when they started actually talking about sex, which I found funny, but it made me feel like, okay, there are issues there, you know? And I read some things about covert incestuous relationships, which are relationships when a parent makes their child take on the characteristics of an adult partner. And we saw that happen with Jim and Nancy on Love and Hip Hop. We saw that in their relationship. That woman got way too upset by the idea of him marrying Chrissy. She kept trying to act like it was about her not being included, but you were upset that he might marry that woman and make her his number one, his wife. You never want to feel like you're competing with someone because you've made him your emotional husband. So we've always felt this way about Jim. Y'all know Chrissy has been the long-suffering girlfriend fighting with Nancy like she the other woman, like they two sister wives holding Jim Jones down. And then he says that his mom taught him everything about sex verbatim. She taught me how to tongue kiss. Everybody in the room is like, what do you mean she taught you how to tongue kiss? He says she taught me with her mouth how to tongue kiss. And when he realized everybody was like, whoa, he was like, what do you mean? That's my mother. And I was like, why she act like it was a joke or he was lying or something like that later? So I'm going to play y'all the video of his response after everybody had my reaction, which is this is disgusting and sad, and he doesn't know that this is an incestuous relationship. But this was his response.
For the record, I love my mama more than anything in the world. And for the record, it was a joke. People take things way too far. Don't bother us anyway, but let's get it clear. That's weak what you're trying to project. Some simple, some from our childhood. You talk about childhood things. I thought that was funny. I appreciate you, Mommy, for helping me out, but no. Cut it short, Jack. Cut the book. You heard? Life is good. I do appreciate all the support, and thank you for letting me go trending again, viral once again. But stop it. Love you, Mommy.
Okay. He also said in the interview, y'all, and then I'm going to let y'all go. But he said in the interview, he said that when his mom kissed him, it didn't bother him at all when she taught him how to do it. But when he had his first kiss with a girl, he was angry about it. And I was like, you're explaining it because you really don't recognize how dysfunctional it is. And I wanted to handle this conversation delicately on the slick because I feel like this is something that actually happens when people kind of form these relationships with their children. Just a little backstory right quick. His dad, he said he loved his dad, but his dad was on drugs. His dad was on heroin, just like his brothers. And I think they all succumbed to, ailments from being on heroin, whether that was, AIDS related or ODing. He didn't specify, but he said that's how they all died. But his dad was in and out of his life. And he says his mom always spoke highly of his father. And it was because his mom was in love with his father. She was a teenage mother in love with her little high school boyfriend who probably got pregnant by him. And when he got on drugs, he wasn't a part of the situation. So I feel like she then put her love for Jim's dad onto Jim. And I think in some ways that relationship had boundaries bleed over. Not intentionally trying to do anything to your kid, but not fully understanding the boundaries that should have been put in place as a mother to son, because you just don't really know any better and y'all still don't know any better. But I'm gonna let y'all give y'all opinion and then we'll watch Nancy's response as well.
I felt like Jim was immediately when I first heard the clip, I said, oh, he's looking for attention. So for him to come back with this post and say that thanks for helping me go trending, it was exactly what I expected. He was looking for attention. Even though he said his mama taught him how to kiss, I never heard him out his mouth say that his mom actually kissed his lips. That's what he did. That's what he didn't say, but he led people to believe. He just said that she showed me how to kiss with her mouth, like licking her tongue out or whatever. Like, that's what I was thinking when I listened to it. And I listened to it more than once. I didn't hear the entire clip, but I just heard like the snippet that was out there. And he never said out his mouth that his mama put her lips on his lips. So when I heard that, I'm like, he just wants some attention, because he's letting them believe whatever they want to believe about it, because he knew it probably was going to be a moment to go viral. Those are just, my thoughts on it.
The only reason why I feel like this was not an attempt to go viral is because that follow-up video that we just watched was embarrassing in my Jami ThatsMe voice. It was embarrassing. You could tell by the way he was talking. He starts off saying it was a joke, but then ends the video saying something simple, something from childhood. Thank you, mommy. So what part was the joke? It was a mistake that you told everybody and it really did happen, is what I understood. And he didn't actually say, yes, she kissed me. But when the interviewer said, what do you mean? He said, like, on the mouth, or she with her mouth. I'm like, how else would that be implied?
He said with her mouth. Exactly.
Yeah,
and
with her mouth.
We're going to play her part because she actually also specifies what she did. So give it a second. But thank you, Lil Sally Walker, for the super chat. Glad to finally catch a live in the beginning. I have really enjoyed the conversation. Like, thank you. We're glad you're enjoying the show. Glad that all of y'all are enjoying the show. Make sure that y'all like the video. I forgot to load the video. Because we have a new one. Jami made us a new one. But that's okay. Once we finish this segment, we're going to hit that old one. And I'm going to make sure we have the next one for the next time. But yes, let's go ahead and run that Nancy response.
I'm doing fine, except for the little excitement that's going on with my son.
Man, have you seen the comments?
The comments is crazy, and everybody needs to understand you're taking it wrong. I am not a nasty mother. All I am is a mother that was teaching my son exactly how to survive and how to actually be able to deal with a woman. And for the information, it wasn't no tonguing down. It was a way of showing you how to tongue. He licked out his tongue. I licked out my tongue. That was that. It wasn't no mouth to mouth resuscitation or whether anything. It wasn't like that. It's all about where's my son growing up and me as a young mother showing her son how to do and deal with life with the young girls, because he's a nice, handsome looking guy. You know what I'm saying? And I taught him all about sex. And trust me, everybody, it wasn't about no sex. Okay, just showing him, telling him how and what he got to do, about how to.
And that's where the video cut off online. But I'm going to just say that she was saying, she stuck her tongue out and he stuck his tongue out. And I feel like even if they were saying that they did not, touch or whatever, Angela Yee said well, my parents don't even kiss me on the cheek. So he was like, no, it's my mother. So it was almost like he was saying, yeah, it's no big deal. And so, you know, even though I understand the moment of going viral, I don't think he meant for it to be this way, because I feel like he was embarrassed. Like Necey said, I feel like he was embarrassed in that video. And I think that Nancy also trying to come up and specify what actually happened. He never would want to let me say this. He might want to go viral, but I don't think he would ever use his mom you know, send people her way negatively to go viral. That's the only reason I wouldn't think that. I really think while he was sitting there, he thought what he was saying wasn't a big deal. He thought it was just, something that, you know, my crazy mom did. And now the way people are coming at him, I think he's understanding, okay, so everybody doesn't, you know, kind of have these types of stories about their mom. Like, I'm just saying, y'all, your parent is not supposed to try to like show you how to do those things. You're supposed to try to learn how to do those things on your own. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah. So for like the Jim Jones part, when I seen it earlier, I was like, that's nasty. Like, I just,
thank you,
to me, that was just nasty. So what it was, but I don't think he was joking. I feel like he said what he said, and it wasn't until, again, the reaction what made him kind of double down to say, oh, it's my mother. I think to him that is normal. I think even the tongue out part to me is weird, because I'm like, I don't want my mama. I don't want that, but I get her saying I was trying to show my son how to be with women, but it's still weird that both of them are trying to explain it away, which to me means they know is something weird about it, because if not, you wouldn't care what anybody said. And I think how he explained it, you didn't even explain it as if she didn't kiss me. You explained it as if she kissed you. I think when explaining anything that your mom, that a parent does, say what it was. I think he was kind of vague with it because he knew they may not really know what it is. But I'm like, I think she kissed him in the mouth, and it's weird, and that's it. And now they're trying to explain it away.
For real, if she really kissed him, and that's disgusting as fuck. That ain't even weird. Just disgusting. Disgusting. And to be honest, when you think about it, it's like, how old was he, and why did you think you were obligated? Like, out of all of the things you could have taught your son about how to be a man and to go out here and navigate the world with women, what was going on in your head mentally that you thought that was one of the things that he specifically needed to know?
Right.
What kind of shit is that?
That
so comment, like, that's weird as shit. I mean, that's disgusting.
It was a comment, and they literally took the words out of my mouth. Danae saying it low key reminds me of Lil Boosie, and I'm thinking about the reaction.
Somebody said that shit.
Yeah, imagine if this was a man teaching his daughter how to do that. Do you understand what
the implications? Yes,
and it's very simple. Why do you? It reminds me when Boosie went and hired them, whatever, sex workers, to get with his underage son because he wanted to teach him how to be a man. And it's like, y'all ain't even trying to buy little boys cooking sets, but you want to kiss the boy in the mouth. I feel bad for him. And I also feel bad because I feel like he's embarrassed now because he's like, dang, I didn't realize this was wrong, and I actually said it out loud.
I think so too. And when I read up on this because often when things like this happen, I feel like it's like a deeper, profound thing happening here that needs to be looked at. So I was kind of looking at some of, the language, and they were like, a lot of times parents like will enmesh themselves, with their children. That's the wording that they use, enmesh. Because they really do, like, for instance, Nancy does come off as a woman that has stunted growth, as a woman that stopped growing at some point, stopped retaining wisdom at some point. As an older woman, Nancy comes off very immature, and she kind of always has. And that's one of the signs of a covert incest relationship, is the parent themselves stunt their own growth. Not just their children, but their own growth as well. And they also guilt their children. So their children feel guilty of abandoning them. So that's almost why I feel like he never was able to go and marry Chrissy or, take his life away from New York in any real way, because he always had to be there for mommy. And in our culture, even in Latina, because he's half Puerto Rican, half Black. In both those cultures, you're supposed to take care of your parents. So people think that that mindset is okay, but honestly, it's a little bit, it's not healthy when he can't go and form a real attachment to the woman he loves because he's scared his mom is going to be upset at him because he's abandoned her. And I feel like when you pay attention to the way he moves and the way he talks about her, I feel like that's really what it is. That's why I would not take him, using this virally as a reason, because I felt like it was indicative of what we had seen from him, throughout our time seeing Jim Jones as a person out here. Thank you, DeQuasia, for the super chat. I thought that it was also telling of how he explained Nancy's motherhood of being a teenager when she had him, and basically said that their relationship is more of a sibling dynamic. And that's another thing that's weird, though. Why do you feel like you need to show your sibling how to kiss? And that's why I feel like she had misplaced. I think he probably looked a lot like his father. He reminded her of his father, and she loved his father. So I think that in her love for him, in the way women treat their sons, there was some unintentional boundary and line crossing in the way she mothered him. And if for nothing, we have to say that's obvious in the way she was involved in his relationship with Chrissy, if nothing else. Thank you, Keisha, for the super chat. What happened to the practicing kissing in the mirror?
That's just very, I don't know. I mean, she was also on drugs at that time, right? Because I'm just not.
She was. She was on drugs throughout his childhood, but I'm not sure if she was at that time. But he does say throughout the interview that his mom was there as well as his grandmother. So, it probably was an in and out thing. But he did say his mom was there more than his dad. So that's what made me feel like she may not have been on drugs the entire time.
Probably not. I mean, everybody's different. I'm a mom of a son. I had my son at 18, and that ain't my brother. That's my child, period. So I don't know what was going on in her life or what she had going on for him to even suggest that or say that as he's, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. As she's coming up, I don't get the dynamic, but I didn't live her life. But I don't think all women that have sons treat their sons like their siblings. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's my child.
No, I don't think that at all. Honestly, Jami, shout out to you for not being one of those, because it seems like young single mothers tend to like attach onto their children because it's just the two of them. So the relation, especially if they're young, they feel like, oh, we grew up together. But really, it's kind of like, yeah, but no.
Well, I think that it has to be a healthy balance. I think you have some parents who, it's the unhealthiness we see with Mama Jones and with Jim Jones. But however, I do know for a fact, I do know young people who had kids when they were younger, and they are not like siblings, but they're like friends because they were both so young. Like my oldest goddaughter, her mom had her, she was like 13. So they did grow up. So they are like sisters, but however, it's not. Yeah. So yeah, she, so she was 13 with my oldest goddaughter and my oldest godson. She had when she was 17 or 18. We were seniors in high school. However, I have two friends like that. My other one had my other daughter when she was 16. But there's a friendship between mother-daughter, but also with the sons. But it's a healthy thing to where, because they were so young, it is the camaraderie, like you, my mama, yes, but also is a good relationship. I think I don't want to make it seem like anybody who has a friendship or sisterhood or whatever their child is weird. Jim Jones, Mom Jones is on some weird shit. But I've seen healthiness because I was so young, and I was 26 and she's 16 or whatever age it was. Like, it's a friendship. And so I think that's what I wish Jim and Nancy could have had. It's just that shit turned the other way.
Right. Yeah, no, I absolutely feel like there are, obviously there are healthy, relationships where you can be a friend to your child without making them responsible for you emotionally. And I think that's what Nancy did. She made Jim responsible for her financially, emotionally, and in that way. I mean, even when you look at the people she was friends with, they were all people around his age. You know what I'm saying? So it just showed that she was never progressing and having a life outside of him for real, like she should have. And when he said for Christmas, we went over there by mommy's house and we were over there and I'm like, you still have this relationship with her where it seems as if she's like the first priority, she's the one that you want to go, home to and all of that type of shit, which I'm sorry, that's not how it's supposed to be. Necey since we know he's still with Chrissy. Chrissy is like, I don't know what it is, but her ability to stay with him,
But does Necey have, because Necey not like married, she's not married or whatever, is she? Because isn't she like single?
I don't think so.
I wonder if the reason I wonder if he's all she has. So it could be a thing where he doesn't want to leave her alone. Because I'm thinking like I don't ever hear of any other family members besides Necey and Jim. So I do want, like, who else? Like, what other family?
If there's other family, I feel like there's probably other family, because he said he grew up with his grandmother, and that made me feel like there were other people on his mom's side of the family. But either way, she still is grown and able enough. Go and get you a life out there, girl. He can check on you without you having to be his number one girl. And I feel like when men have that type of mindset about their moms, that's my number one girl. Yeah, no, it really shouldn't be like that. That's weird. You need to find a woman to be your number one girl. Your mama need to be your mama. So yeah, it's just weird, but I feel like it's a conversation that needs to be had, because often I feel like people don't want to have these conversations when it's a mother, because they don't like to think of women doing these types of things, but they very much cross these types of boundaries in a lot of Black households and Black families. And we know, because as women, we've sometimes had to deal with mamas who did not like us for whatever reason, and just all of this over coveting of their sons, as if every girl is out here to trap your amazing handsome son. It's like, girl, do you want to fuck him or not? Like, okay. So I think it's definitely not just Black at all, but we Black. So that's why I was like, it's prevalent to us. But thank you, Amani, for the super chat. Probably why he won't marry Chrissy. That's what I said. That's what I said. That's what came to my mind. Like, that's the reason why, because in his mind, marrying Chrissy would completely put her as that number one person, and that would probably feel like some type of betrayal to his mom, which is why, if y'all remember, she lost her fucking mind when Chrissy proposed to Jim. Do y'all remember? And Jim was so uncomfortable sitting there. And I think one of the things that was going through his mind is mommy is probably losing her shit right now.
Yeah, that's emotional.
I can't remember, but yeah.
I can't remember. That's super prevalent. I remember being on Facebook probably like 2 years ago. This girl I went to high school with had her baby. And in high school, she was one of them pass around, insecure. Ended up having this baby, post this long post about, now, yes, finally I have somebody to love me like forever. And I'm like, damn, the baby ain't even, 5 days out the womb, and you are placing your insecurities and emotional responsibility. She had a boy on this boy. And I'm just like, come on. I ain't got no kids, but everybody, it's just a toxic cycle. When you with people who haven't had the healthiest relationships with parents, and they always say, oh, well, I saw this from my grandparents. Yeah, whatever. And then they don't know how to parent, or you get into a relationship with a dude and he don't know how to parent. And it's just like, that's sick, even from an emotional standpoint. It's sad. Everybody needs some counseling.
For real, in a real way. But they the type of people that feel like ain't nobody need no counseling. Nobody ain't tell nobody my business. Like, you need to tell some damn body so they can talk you through how you sound crazy, and you need to redirect some of that shit.